So, this is JamsHams Judgement. It's my weekly podcast that I usually do on a Friday or Saturday, and basically it's a live interactive review podcast. Oh, I got the command wrong. James, you dum-dum. There we go. This is the gist of it. So every week I'll be reviewing a thing, and then you guys can join in the conversation with your questions and your comments. Please do keep questions and comments at least vaguely related to what we're talking about, though, so we can keep this on track, because this is technically a recording as well, because I put it on YouTube as well. So yeah, try and keep it on track at least a little bit. No, Pete, I'm not. So yeah, after this I will be playing some games and stuff. So yeah. So cool. Basically, when I review anything, by the way, and if you have any suggestions, put them in the Discord, in the suggestion box, and I'll probably get round to reviewing it. Basically, when I do a movie, I start off with a little recap of the plot, sort of try and speed through that, get everyone up to speed with what's going on, and then I will deliver the judgment, as it were. So I thought we'd start today by at least mentioning that Godzilla King of the Monsters, which we're reviewing today, which I've just gotten back from seeing, is a sequel to the 2014 Godzilla, which I really liked, and it's also a sequel, I guess, technically, it was kind of shoehorned in, but it is a sequel to Kong Skull Island, which I really liked. So let's have a little recap of the 2014 Godzilla. It's been 5 years. I'm assuming most people have seen it. I liked it. A lot of people didn't. It didn't have much Godzilla in it, to be fair. Probably why people liked it, but I liked it. It's a good film. Solid film. So the plot of the 2014 Godzilla is basically Godzilla, big old lizard guy, was awakened by nuclear tests, as per usual. And there were also two other big old monsters that were awakened and were feeding off nuclear reactors in Japan, I think. And they're called MUTOs, which stands for Massive Unidentified Terrestrial Organisms. And the whole gist of the film is that basically Godzilla is hunting down these two MUTOs, so these two other big monsters, and that's it. Godzilla's hunting these monsters, basically. And then the human side is basically humans get in the way, try and shoot everyone. It doesn't work out. Godzilla beats up all the monsters, and eventually the humans realize, oh shit, Godzilla's not a bad guy. He's actually pretty chill, and he just wants to help. And that's basically how Godzilla 2014 ends. He just pisses off back into the sea, and we don't see him again for 5 years. So that is a very, very brief overview of the 2014 Godzilla. And I suppose we should mention Kong Skull Island. If you haven't seen any of these films, I think Skull Island is the one I liked the most. I think I'm just more of a Kong fan than a Godzilla fan, I guess. It's just something satisfying about watching a giant gorilla smash up stuff. It's pretty cool. So basically, Kong Skull Island is set in the 70s. Nothing much story-wise. It's just, big gorilla smashing up humans that come to his island. But it is then set up that it's in the same universe as Godzilla, and then of course the next Godzilla film is Godzilla vs. Kong, which I'm so down for. I really hope it's good, because I was a bit let down by this one. Yeah, Fritz, if you have time, I'd recommend Skull Island. It's like not the best movie in the world, but it's a ton of fun. Hi. Okay. Yeah, the agility of a giant gorilla would be insane. Yeah. Although it's weird. We don't know how big Kong is going to be, because in Kong Skull Island he's not fully grown. They've said that, and he's a hell of a lot smaller than Godzilla. Like Godzilla in these films, like towers above everything. He's bordering on like a mountain size. He's a big chungus in these films, whereas Kong's just a wee little lad. But apparently he's grown since the 70s, but we don't yet know what the size comparison is going to be. So I don't know how that fight's going to go down. I mean, obviously, and I mean, Godzilla in these films is fairly agile as well for being a big mountain lizard. He would realistically just tear Kong to shreds, but it'll still be fun, hopefully. So yeah, that's Kong Skull Island. A rollicking good time. Got a lot of monkey fights, and it's great. Good cast as well. What if Kong has a knife? Well, that's the thing. That's the thing. I don't want to spoil Skull Island, but he does use tools. At one point, he uses a massive tree as like a baseball bat, and then he uses a massive propeller on a chain and swings it around and kills another big monster. He could use a knife. Give Kong a knife, and he could stand a chance. Oh dear. So yeah, maybe if Kong has a knife. Okay, so as always, I've written down probably the worst summary in the world of Godzilla 2 King of the Monsters. I think I've covered the main points, but like I said, I rushed through this because I got in from seeing it like an hour or two ago. I haven't had much time to look through this, so bear with me. It's fresh off the dome. Okay, so Godzilla 2 takes place 5 years after the first Godzilla, and Monarch, the company that handles all these monster sightings and whatnot, has been tracking Godzilla and all of the other Titans. They've renamed the Mutos Titans now. So Titans equals Mutos, Mutos equals giant monsters. Hello, Rollo. Welcome to JamsHams Judgement. Exclamation mark review if you don't know what's going on. So basically, in the past 5 years, Monarch has been tracking and containing these Titans, and they've found 17 in total. These include Mothra, who you may know. I'm a big Mothra fan myself. Kong as well is classed as a Titan, and Godzilla obviously. So yeah, we start off the film with looking at a Mothra egg, and this Mothra egg is about to hatch, and there is a science lady. Honestly, this is one of the problems with the film. The human aspect of this film is so boring and so unnecessary that I don't even know any of the characters' names, and I just saw it. So I'm gonna call her Science Lady. Main Science Lady is working on Mothra, and Mothra starts to hatch, and she has this machine. Science Lady has a machine. Mothra doesn't have a machine. Science Lady has developed this machine, and it talks to the Titans. It outputs a signal that makes it think that the humans are like the alpha, so they don't get attacked, and it keeps the Titans in check, basically. So Mothra hatches, webs up a few dudes. She Spider-Mans them. And the device is called the Orca, by the way, I think. Let's see. Oh, God. It put you to sleep. honestly, there were bits of it. It was like even like after some fights that perked me up, I was like, oh man, just get on with it. But yeah, I'll get on to the actual review in a minute. I'll try and summarize this, but it's all convoluted and weird, and I really don't care about the human bits, and dearie me. Okay. But, okay, so plot twist. Turns out Science Lady is working with some eco-terrorists, and the eco-terrorists want to unleash all of the Titans, and they want to do this to, like, restore balance to the world. And they think unleashing all these Titans that have been dormant for so many years will wipe out all the human bad stuff, that'll wipe out all pollution, bring back endangered species, because apparently the radiation that these Titans put out of themselves encourages life to grow, and has been like what was it? San Francisco from the first Godzilla, I think. After that got destroyed, life has basically grown. It's like turning into some sort of like rainforest, and they're like, hey, look, Godzilla pretty good. Big monsters pretty good. Yes, they are aware. Well, they're kind of aware that they'll die. They're aware that most people will die, but their thinking is that humanity will still survive because Monarch has also made a load of bunkers, and they're like, oh, we can just hide out until the monsters have done their smashing, and we can then come out and enjoy all the nice lush rainforests that they've made. So that's the eco-terrorists' plan, and the Science Lady with the sound machine is helping them. But yeah, so here's where the film really starts to kick off. In Antarctica, there's a Monarch station, and frozen in the ice is King Ghidorah. Now, King Ghidorah, for those of you not clued in, is basically a giant dragon, or it's more like a hydra, if you know what a hydra is. Basically it's a three-headed dragon thing, and if you cut off one head, it just grows back. It doesn't, like, it's kind of like a hydra, but it doesn't like grow back more heads, if you know. But look, it basically is a hydra. In looks, anyway. So you see him in the ice, frozen in Antarctica, and he's the next Titan that they're trying to free. So they blow up the ice, they use the sound machine to awaken Ghidorah, and Ghidorah starts frickin' shit up. Okay? He starts frickin' shit up, and almost kills everyone, but out of nowhere, and this happens a lot, out of nowhere, up comes Godzilla, and then they have a big monster fight, and let the humans get away, and blah 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 blah. It's worth mentioning as well that apparently that Ghidorah has this primal rivalry with Godzilla that's lasted millennia, like way before humans were even a thing. So they're gunning for each other, and as soon as like Ghidorah starts coming out of the ice, Godzilla is on it from like the other side of the world. He's swimming over. So yeah. Oh, I lost my place. So Godzilla kind of wins, and scares Ghidorah off with the help of a few missiles and stuff. Godzilla didn't use the missiles, the humans did. Although that would be badass. So Ghidorah goes away, flies off. But plot twist. Another plot twist, which isn't a plot twist. Ghidorah starts taking control and starts waking up all the Titans himself. So Ghidorah is trying to become the king of monsters, if you were, and sort of take over from Godzilla. And it's working, because he's awakening all these monsters, all these like 17 Titans around the world. They start smashing up buildings and cities and everything. So he awakes ones like there's like a giant mammoth thing. There's like a giant spider, squid looking thing. There's Rodan, which is basically a cross between like a giant pterodactyl and an eagle. Rodan's pretty cool. Comes out of a volcano, which is pretty bitchin'. I'll get to that in the bits that I liked. Okay, so basically they're like, okay, we've fucked up a bit. We shouldn't have awoken this beast. And Godzilla is trying to go and fight Ghidorah. Mostly, this whole film is just Godzilla trying to defeat Ghidorah. Like again and again and again. It basically goes, oh, you think he's defeated? Oh no, he's not. Oh, you think he's defeated? Oh no, he's not. Oh, you think he's defeated? Oh no, he's not. It just this isn't a story-strong film, let's put it that way. So Godzilla is trying to fight Ghidorah again in the ocean, and the military deem this whole situation too dangerous, and they hit them both with an oxygen destroyer, which is essentially a nuke that gets rid of all the oxygen in an area and destroys all life, or is meant to. I don't know. The whole section in this film was so glossed over. It's like they literally phoned in and said, oh, by the way, this is after not seeing the military for like half the film. They're like, oh, by the way, big missiles coming. Oh dear. So didn't even affect Ghidorah at all, but Godzilla dies. And he sinks to the bottom of the ocean. And I know, Rollo. It's as I'm going back through it, I'm just realizing like, no, this doesn't even make sense. What is going on? Okay, basically, Ghidorah was unharmed, they realized, because unlike the other Titans, Ghidorah is an alien who came from another planet, so he doesn't quite work the same way as the other Titans. So I guess he doesn't need oxygen because he was completely unfazed. He's got regeneration, crazy lightning powers, and he's whereas the other Titans can spread life, Ghidorah would just flatten the whole world and sort of rebuild it the way he wants, or to whatever planet he came from or whatever. So it turns out Godzilla isn't dead, though. Godzilla, instead of dying, he sinks to... Wasn't Mothra from Mars or something, or not like the moon? Maybe. Not in these films, I don't think. I think they obviously use a slightly different, lore and stuff. They didn't say Mothra was from anywhere. They only said Ghidorah was an alien and the other ones were Earth-based, but, they could change it. Right, where was I? So yeah, Godzilla isn't dead. Instead, now this is... I don't even know how to explain this without it sounding just ridiculous. Instead of Godzilla dying, he went through the Earth's crust, because apparently in this universe the Earth is hollow. Let that sink in. The Earth is hollow, and that's how Godzilla travels, because it creates like tunnels and whirlpools through the Earth, and he can go in one end and like pop out another or something. Again, very glossed over. The most information you get about that is during the end credits in some news clippings that show up. It's just a lot of this stuff I'm realizing is very glossed over. And maybe they should have taken a bit of time, explaining some of it. It gets crazier. It gets crazier. So Godzilla shoots off down one of these whirlpool into the Hollow Earth, and in the Hollow Earth there is a city. It's basically Atlantis. Godzilla basically goes to the lost city of Atlantis to recover his strength from like a radioactive hotspot. I know Fritz. It's it's something. It's something. And this all happens so quickly and out of the blue. Exactly. Are we still in the same film? I came in here for monsters crashing together, and now we're heading to the city of Atlantis? What? So yeah, this ancient city apparently predates Rome and Egypt, and is like an old civilization that worked with Godzilla. There's loads of like cave paintings and stuff, and loads of Godzilla statues. And it's like half underwater, but then there's an air pocket with a giant pyramid which Godzilla goes to regen. So that's where he went, because he was injured by the oxygen destroyer. And he's gone there to revive. But the humans are like, well, that'll take him too long. We need him to beat Ghidorah before Ghidorah like destroys the Earth. Oh, regeneration beacon. Sorry, yes, of course. Right. So they're like, Godzilla, you don't have time to regen. We've got to like kickstart this. So obviously they decide to nuke him because Godzilla feeds off radiation. So they decide to shoot some nukes at him while he's asleep to speed up his regen so he can come out and fight again. So they take a submarine down the whirlpool through the Hollow Earth out into Atlantis. This is so dumb. Oh, this is so dumb. But oh no, they got damaged and the weapon system won't work. So what's his name? Serizawa, played by Ken Watanabe from the first one. Like one of the only returning characters, by the way. Like no one came back for this. It was really weird. It's just a load of random new people that you don't even know about. I don't know. It's weird. So he's one of the only like returning characters, and like one of the only characters that you actually care about. He sacrifices himself and manually goes to plant the warhead at Godzilla, and the radiation would kill him anyway because of all the underground radiation or whatever. So Ken Watanabe and Godzilla have a little touching moment, and Godzilla is like, "It's cool, bro. Thanks for the regen boost. Thanks for the regen potion, my dude." So Godzilla is regened and zips back up and is back to full fighting force. It's at this point where I noticed a huge plot hole, which a lot of people noticed from the poster as well. This is like the bit from the poster where the one that I photoshopped, where he's like looking up at this and spewing out his atomic breath in the middle of the sea. What? Apparently Godzilla can just like stand on water, because they're in the middle of the deep ocean, yet Godzilla is standing up with his like legs in. It's just look at the poster. I'm sure you'll find it if you Google it. It just, I don't know how they overlooked it. I don't know how they overlooked the fact that Godzilla should not be able to stand up in the middle of the sea. It's ridiculous. Like, how can he swim up from a place? How can he swim up from Atlantis and then stand on top? I don't know. Like, people are saying that he was like standing on a whale or something to explain it. It's dumb. That's the least of the film's worries, though. Does it blow away the city or just release radiation? It completely obliterates Atlantis. Yeah, that's a thing I didn't like. It's like, oh, it would be pretty cool to explore this ancient civilization. No, it completely obliterated. Nothing left of that city. So yeah, bye-bye Atlantis, you will stay lost. Yeah, SMH indeed. SMH. But I guess they're trying to save the world. It's understandable, I suppose. Right, so Godzilla then goes off to fight Ghidorah. Oh, also, while this is happening, Mothra comes out of her cocoon and is fully fledged, and Mothra and Godzilla have like a connection. Basically, Godzilla's the king and Mothra's the queen. It's described as some sort of symbiotic relationship, which is cool because, like, you know, in most other things, Mothra is allied with Godzilla. So yeah, they're buds. They're buds. Yeah, but they had to use a nuke, obviously. They couldn't just radiate him. Or, you know, just wait. Like, he was going to regen anyway. They could have just waited. But no, we need to nuke it. We need to nuke him. Basically, the humans' answer to everything in this is just, nuke it! Just nuke it! Yeah. So, Mothra helps them find Godzilla, and Mothra and Godzilla then chuff off to fight Ghidorah and his sidekick Rodan. Pterodactyl eagle. Okay. Okay, there we go. So, you know the sound machine that I mentioned earlier? The Millie Bobby Brown, aka 11 from Stranger Things, also like one of the better characters in this film, basically tries to save the world by using the sound machine to stop the other Titans attacking and lead all the Alpha Titans like to one area so they can, you know, fight it out. So everyone goes to Boston for a big monster fight. And then finally we do get a big monster fight, which is what we've been waiting for. Mothra fucks up Rodan, stings him in his dumb chest, and is pretty cool, but Mothra is pretty badly damaged. Godzilla is, you know, fighting Ghidorah, but it doesn't have the upper hand, obviously still a bit weak. So Mothra shields Godzilla from Ghidorah's lightning blast and sacrifices herself for Godzilla. It was very touching, very touching. R.I.P. Mothra. She got obliterated and disintegrated. R.I.P. Mothra. You will be missed. And then Godzilla then absorbs the falling mothy bits. And basically Godzilla becomes Super Saiyan. Like, he basically becomes like a living thermonuclear warhead, I think they described him as. Basically, he's like huge, molten. He like melts everything that he's walking by, and he's got like this powerful heat blast that he can do now, as well as his atomic breath. And he fucks up Ghidorah. Cool. Nice. Good job, Zilla. Good job. So it ends. He is the Alpha. He is the Alpha Titan. All the other Titans come to him and sort of, you know, bow down to him. He's the boss, and he's the boss. And that's how the film ends. As Godzilla becoming the king of the monsters. Hey, woo, wee. GG. Yeah, and then during the credits we get like loads of news clippings and everything saying how Godzilla is keeping all the Titans in check, and they are actually restoring habitats and everything's going well. Apparently we can use their shit as fuel, which is good as well. And then it also says that apparently all the Titans are converging on Skull Island, which is where Kong lives. So that's all a big build up to Godzilla vs. Kong, which is going to be cool. Only about 2 billion people died. Yeah. I mean, heavy losses on the human side, which are all glossed over entirely. I don't think anyone mentions how, Boston isn't a thing anymore, and, those 17 other cities around the world also aren't a thing anymore. But yeah, all worked out in the end, didn't it? All worked out in the end. So yeah, that is essentially Godzilla 2 in a nutshell. Now I'm gonna say some good. I'm gonna start with like the things I liked about the film, and then I'm gonna move on to the things I didn't like. I mean, I've already touched on things I didn't like, but I thought this film wasn't all bad. I'll say that. Story-wise, very bad. Visually and monster fighting-wise, I enjoyed it. The monster fights I did really enjoy, but they could have also been a lot better. Mothra was pretty badass. She used her web skills to web up Ghidorah and stuff. I also like the fact that they made Mothra like really likable and nice. Definitely the nicest Titan. Because even if she had to fight some humans, she didn't kill them. She like webbed them up, like basically Spider-Man. So she never killed anyone and sacrificed herself. And she's just a big old sweetie. A big old sweetie is Mothra. So I enjoyed all the Mothra bits. Godzilla fights I also enjoyed. Showed off some more skills, a lot more atomic breath than we got in the 2014 one. A lot of different skills, different moves and stuff. So yeah, I did like a lot of it. I did like a lot of it. Not a lot. I liked a bit of it. I mean, Godzilla's still nice, but he's still a bro, but he doesn't really care as much about, collateral damage. Godzilla will happily destroy a city or three, whereas Mothra is like, I'll do my best to sort of, avoid trampling and, killing you and eating you. When he got powered up, it was pretty cool. When he got his new, molten lava power set, that was pretty cool. And the final Ghidorah fight was pretty cool. It was a cool bit where he blasted Ghidorah's heads off, and it was pretty cool. King Ghidorah was a bit of a dummy in this film, to be fair. Yeah, he wasn't the greatest. He was shown to be very powerful, but not great. I feel like he was underused. But hey, this is things that I liked. So let's keep it positive for now. There's also a bit right at the end where people are fully 100% finally on Godzilla's side. They finally fully realized that Godzilla is trying to, defeat the baddies and keep balance. So there's a cool moment where Godzilla is marching in to fight King Ghidorah, and he's surrounded by jets and warships, and it's a pretty you just feel yourself going, yeah, go fuck him up. I like that bit. I basically liked any of the monster fights. That's pretty good. It basically felt like the writers and directors were really good at the monster fights and stuff, but really bad at everything else. That's the general gist I got. But when I say the monster fights could have been better, they could have been a lot better. I mean, half the time you can't even see it. With every single monster fight, it's either too dark, it's raining, there's lightning everywhere, sometimes it's too bright. There's literally a bit where Mothra comes out of her cocoon, and it's so bright that you don't see you don't even see what Mothra looks like until about 5 minutes later, when it finally just isn't bright anymore. The whole budget went to special effects. I mean, well, obviously this has a very high budget and a lot of special effects. So yeah, wouldn't surprise me if that is entirely true. And anywhere King Ghidorah went, he brought a storm with him. So any fight with King Ghidorah, it was raining, it was smoky, and there was lightning everywhere, so you could barely see anything. That's one of the things that I liked about Kong Skull Island, where it was more, there was a lot of daylight stuff, so you could actually see what's going on, and it's just a lot cooler when you can actually see what the monsters are doing, rather than just have them punching each other and you can hardly see it, and sometimes you see a glimpse of something through the smoke. And then if it wasn't smoky or anything, you were watching it on a screen through one of these instruments, or like it. Sometimes you were about to see something really cool, and then the shot would be blocked by like a plane or something, or it would have a weird shot from inside a building where you could just see like a tail moving or something. It's like, no, just pan out and show us the big monster fight, please. Just zoom out, show us big monster fight. But they didn't, so they could have been a lot better. Give me a second, hang on. Excuse me. Yeah, $10 to a fanfic writer, definitely. If they're like, oh, how do we explain this? Oh, let's have Godzilla go to Atlantis and regen on his magic regen pyramid. Yeah, okay, that seems about right. Okay, so the bad bits. The main bad bits is just all the human stuff. Anything with the humans was boring. So boring. The story, like I said, didn't make any sense. But not only that, if you took out the humans... I just realised this when I was writing this summary. If you take out every single human, the film would still make as much sense. Like, it still would have played out the exact same way if the humans had just not been there. But the film is like 70% the humans dicking around and doing the same thing over and over and over again. And bear in mind, you don't care about any of these characters. They've had zero development. They're not from the previous films or anything like that. You just don't care about them at all. But it's 70% of the movie. In a Godzilla movie, the second Godzilla movie, it should just be fights. It should be big... It's King of the Monsters and there's barely any monsters. Yeah, I just... Any time I was rolling my eyes so much at so many of the humans' decisions and how they were doing things and what they were saying. The dialogue was like clunky and purely like for exposition. So basically, most of what all of the people said consisted of, oh my god, what's Godzilla doing now? Or, oh my god, come and look at this screen. There was so much screen looking in this film. It's like, well, oh my god, look at my sensors, this indicates blah 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 blah. Like, just show me. Don't show me a little grey blob on a screen that's meant to be Godzilla. Actually show me Godzilla. Like, you're a Godzilla film. I don't want to look at the screen and see how his radiation is spiking. I want to see Godzilla. And there's so much of that. There's so much. And my god, the plot armor. I was moaning about Game of Thrones for the amount of plot armor in the final season. the amount of plot armor in this film is ridiculous. These characters are immortal. Millie Bobby Brown's character at the end, the building she was in was being destroyed with many, many lightning bolts by King Ghidorah, and she outran it at like 2 miles an hour. It was the most ridiculous looking thing I've ever seen. Like, a few of these people even survive an almost point-blank explosion many times. It's like, and it's not even like they got injured. They didn't even get scratches. And there's a bit at the end where the science lady is driving through Boston, but Boston isn't a thing anymore. Like, it's been completely flattened, but somehow she's still driving through it, and the road is completely clear. It's just things like that. It's just lazy writing, basically. That where they're like, oh, we need to get from point A to point B. Let's just say that you can drive there through this completely destroyed city, and you can dodge all the explosions, and you can dodge Godzilla, and you can dodge Rodan, and you can dodge Mothra, and you can dodge all of King Ghidorah's storms and lightning bolts, and feet, and wings, and teeth. There's a lot of that. There's a lot of that in the film. And there's also a lot of teleporting around. The main characters... This is my main problem I had. The main characters were never, ever more than, like, 10 feet away from a monster at any time. No matter where in the world they were, suddenly they would teleport right to where the action is and somehow, like, be like, oh god, we gotta get out of this, oh no! Because, like, most of the human stuff took place on a giant plane, which was their base of operations. And it's just like they teleported to wherever the monsters were. And the monsters teleported as well. I'm guessing they used this Hollow Earth fast travel system or whatever it was, but Jesus Christ. And like I said, they weren't helping or doing anything, so they could have literally just gone. They didn't have to be there. But it was just, they were purely there to create this fake tension of, oh my god, are they gonna die? I don't care if they die. I don't even know their names. I don't give a shit about these characters. But because they were there, they kept on cutting back to them instead of showing the big monster fight. Oh my god. Just show us the monsters. So yeah, that's any of the human bits I just did not like at all. And it's not the fault of any of the actors in this film. There's a lot of, like, fine... It's fine acting. It's not like it's bad acting. They just didn't... They gave them nothing to say. They gave them nothing to say. It's just... It's bad. It's real bad. Yeah, they had nothing to say, nothing to do, apart from nuking an occasional thing. Yeah, that's... Okay. So let's go on to my final judgment, shall we? So, overall, it's a distinctly okay movie. I honestly wouldn't recommend going to see it in the cinema. I kind of wish I didn't, and it pains me to say because I was looking forward to this movie and I thought it would be a lot better. I heard the monster fights were cool, but even then, like I said, they could have been better. I was disappointed, basically. I was very disappointed. I think they could have improved it a lot. And the whole thing was basically a build up to the next one, which I was more excited for, to be fair. Like I said, I preferred Kong Skull Island, so and Godzilla, the first one, so a Godzilla and Kong team up is really what I'm here for, and this movie was just a big lead up to that. And that's basically all this movie is. I would honestly wait until it comes out on DVD, Blu-ray, streaming, whatever, or and fast forward through the human bits, or literally, if it comes out on DVD, I'm sure someone will make a cut where they cut out all the human bits and just like splice together all the monster bits. Just watch that. Just watch that. Just like type in Godzilla King of Monsters, all monster scenes, and you'll get the best bits of the movie, and it will still make sense. So yeah, wait for that. Wait for that. Or just go off of my really bad plot summary. I honestly wouldn't waste your money on it. Honestly wouldn't waste your money. But yeah, that's my... Excuse me. That is my final judgment. It's okay. I don't usually give things a rating, but I'm going to be pretty harsh and start rating. And I'm going to give this like a 4 out of 10. I'm going to give it a solid 4 out of 10 hams. Yeah, there you go. Monster fights were cool. Nothing else. Nothing else. So yeah, I mean, Adam, I wanted it to be good too. I was pumped. I was pumped. I know, Rollo, maybe a 4's even generous. Maybe, but there were a few moments where I was like, okay, this is pretty cool. This is pretty cool. Like, I enjoyed the monsters. That's what I came to see. I came to see the monsters. I think there was just enough monsters to scrape up to a 4. Or maybe I should give it a 3, because I said it was 70% humans. So I guess it would be 30% monsters and then 30% 3 out of 10. I'm going to give it a 3 out of 10 then. Yeah, Mothra was cool. Mothra is adding some points. 3.5. 3.5 hams. There you go. Final judgment. 3.5 hams. Oh, that was the other thing. The credits. The credits with the news stories. The credits gave you more story and more lore about these titans and the monsters than the whole film did. Just watch a cut of the monsters and then watch the credits with the news things, and you'll have all the information you need to see like Godzilla vs. Kong or whatever, which I'm hoping is good. I'm hoping is good. I don't know like who's directing it or whatever. I don't know if it's the Godzilla directors or the Kong directors or a mixture, but I hope it's good. I hope they don't drag Kong down. I really liked Skull Island. And this movie actually it just made me want to watch Kong again. I mean, I might do that tonight if I can find it. Yeah. Basically, we just want to see the monsters fight. We don't care about the garbage humans, we just want to see the monsters fight. Just give us the monster fights, please. Okay. So if there's any other questions or comments or anything from you guys, then I'll start to wrap it up for the YouTube video. So over to you. Any comments or things, questions? I'm sure I've missed something. Jurassic Park style Kongs get captured and brought to the city, breaks out, enter Godzilla. See, that would be kind of cool. That'd be kind of cool, but it's all been set up like and this was all set up in the end credits. Apparently, every single Titan is converging on Skull Island. So all of the Titans are coming to Kong because there's something to do with Skull Island that's good for Titans or whatever. I think it might tie into this whole Hollow Earth thing. I think there might be like an entrance there or something. I don't know. It wasn't explained. I guess we'll just have to wait. Second Atlantis? Maybe. Skull Island has Titan weed. Kong's just sat there baked out of his damn mind. That's why he's so chill. It all makes sense. Maybe that's why they're converging. There has to be some reason. I guess we'll find out. Deary me. But even after all this, I'm still pumped for Kong. I'm still pumped for Kong. Do you love a bit of Kong? So yeah, anything else before I wrap up? Because then I'll wrap this up, make it concise for the YouTubes, and then move on to some games. Fritz has something. Do you? Do you really? Because last time you said that you didn't have anything. Have a nice day. Okay. And with that, this has been JamsHams Judgement, my weekly interactive live review podcast. Every week I review a thing, and you can join in the conversation with me live, and then I put it on my YouTube as the podcast. If you have any suggestions as to what I should review, and bearing in mind I don't just do films, I review anything and everything, put it in the Discord. I've got a suggestion box section, so yep, there's the Discord right there. Feel free to join and add in whatever suggestions you have. We've done Spider-Man, we've done Dungeons and Dragons, we've done subscription boxes, we've done all sorts. This is my 10th podcast, so we've been going 10 weeks and it's going pretty well. So yeah, see you next week. Bye bye.